Some would say AEW will never, ever be the same again after losing CM Punk. But according to Chris Jericho, he thinks it wasn't a big loss for the company. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. And Chris Jericho, the company man, the Tony Khan, the first member of the Tony Khan Kiss My Ass Club, has been speaking about CM Punk's departure to the WWE. And in the same process, he kind of just buried every big debut on AEW while doing so. So he sat down for an interview with WFAA. Not quite sure what this is. I think it might be like a Canadian channel, like a Canadian broadcaster or whatnot. But they had an interview with Chris Jericho and they asked him about the backstage reaction. What was everyone's thoughts of when CM Punk left AEW and when he ended up going back to WWE. Now, Chris Jericho was reportedly one of the people that said he would not work with Punk, and that makes sense because we've seen how the Elite, Kenny Omega, Adam Page, those guys wanted to basically cut CM Punk out of AEW, and Chris Jericho's not going to rock the boat. He's not going to go against what those guys think because he knows that's the core of AEW. That is Tony Khan's favourite people. So if they don't want Punk and if they don't want to work with Punk, then we know that Chris Jericho is just going to side with them.
Yes, he's going to put the stabilizers on that boat, and he's going to definitely not play devil's advocate. He's going to go against CM Punk. He's in Daddy Khan's back pocket, player. And let me tell you something as well. He says it's no big deal. Well, unless it's in comparison to his fucking beer belly, then I think it would be a big deal losing CM Punk. Because, I mean, it not only has it cost him a draw, it looks like it's cost him a TV deal.
Yes, now, we all know that CM Punk was the guy that's created... Out of AEW so far, it's undoubtedly CM Punk was the biggest signing that they ever had. He drew the biggest amount of TV ratings that they ever had as well. When you look at Rampage, no one had the sort of gains that CM Punk had from a television standpoint. But this is what Chris Jericho had to say on Punk's departure and how he felt like it didn't really have an issue on the effect, on a negative effect on the company. He says, quote, "It's business as usual. It happens. It's the same reason why I'm sure there wasn't a big reaction when Adam Copeland came to AEW, or when Will Ospreay signed with AEW, or when Danielson, Moxley and Adam Cole came to AEW. It's good for business that guys have the ability to go between companies. It's great for the fans and it's great for the talent overall. It just makes the business stronger, and that's the most important thing." End of quote. Chris Jericho has just come out here and said that there was no big reaction when Adam Copeland came to AEW, and I know he's trying to downplay Punk, but if anything, he's just completely burying his own company here. He just admitted there was no big reaction when Adam Copeland came to AEW. Same with Will Ospreay. And is he wrong? Probably not. I mean, Adam Copeland did get a pretty big pop, but you look at it now and it doesn't even feel like Edge is in AEW because nothing is happening. And then Will Ospreay, he signed and there was literally crickets.
Crickets happening in it. This is Jericho though. Yeah, he's burying AEW, but does he mean it in a more generalised sense? Like, did he mean back in '99 when he made the debut, the Titantron counted down? Was it just business as usual because he had the ability to jump between both companies, like with the Radicals and other people that jumped the ship back in the 90s? Or is it just simply an AEW thing where it's business as usual?
Obviously, it's not an all-time thing. He's referring to 2023. He's referring to AEW because we know in the history of wrestling where wrestlers jump ships to other companies, and it's been huge deals. When Hogan went to WCW, it was huge. When Nash and Hall went to WCW, it was huge. When Jericho went from WCW to WWF, it was huge. So we know that in the history that when wrestlers jump companies, it is a big deal. When they're a big name and they jump, it means a lot. When Kurt Angle went to TNA, that was huge. At that time, TNA truly felt like they were becoming serious competition due to the one signing of Kurt Angle. But Jericho here, what he's doing is he's trying to downplay the loss of Punk. But what he's actually done is he's completely buried AEW because he said, "It's the same reason why I'm sure there wasn't a big reaction when Adam Copeland came to AEW or when Will Ospreay signed." He just came out, he flat out said there wasn't a big reaction when Adam Copeland came to AEW. And That is sort of true, but that should never be the case. There should have been a massive reaction when Adam Copeland came to AEW. Then he said when Will Ospreay signed, there wasn't a big reaction. Again, true, there wasn't. I remember when that announcement was made, Tony Khan said the big announcement, the guy that they're signing, the fans respect him, he's loved worldwide, he's got a great body of work, blah, blah, blah. They announced it was Will Ospreay, and it was like a dead announcement. People were just sitting there thinking, really, Will Ospreay, this guy has already wrestled in the company several times throughout the year. He's not a big signing. Jericho then went on to say Danielson, Moxley, and Adam Cole came to AEW, and they weren't big signings either. Now, funnily enough, he didn't mention his own name in there, so maybe he believes that he is different. But nah, for me, I think this is him burying the company big time by claiming that there wasn't a big reaction when none of these guys signed, because there should have been a big reaction. If AEW was a big company and if they were doing right by these guys, then it would be a big deal. It would be a huge deal, because CM Punk's came back to WWE and it has been a huge deal.
Yep, he's definitely inadvertently buried not only the company, these guys. Like, what would these guys think reading this now? Albeit most people on this list are not better than Jericho. I mean, Edge is probably the only guy that's near him when it comes to that. Daniel Bryan, who Tony Khan, by the way, labelled as the smartest man he's ever met and the greatest wrestler of all time, which I think Tony Khan's back on the crack. But again, Jericho, like you said, didn't include his own name on this list. But he's absolutely right, but he shouldn't be saying it, considering he's so far up Tony Khan's shitter.
But that's not what he means. He's trying to protect the company, but he's buried it.
Yeah, that's exactly. He's botchamania, and Jericho doesn't like the word botch, but that's exactly what this is.
Well, he has botched because he's trying to downplay CM Punk's leaving of the company, but all he's done in reality is said that Edge, Will Ospreay, those guys have made no big deal coming in.
Yeah, I mean, so Punk hasn't made a big one going out, and Edge hasn't made a big one coming in. Oh, it's counteracted each other. It's alright, it's business as usual. The ratings have not went up or down. CM Punk, forget about his ratings, damn it. Forget about that wee show we created for him. It's all in the past, brother.
Yeah, I just don't get it here. I don't understand what Jericho is trying to go for. I mean, he could have downplayed Punk leaving without downplaying the reaction that like Adam Copeland got.
He could have used the same term though. Oh, it's business as usual in AEW. You know, we sold out Wembley, the biggest ever sellout of tickets in the history of world wrestling, and not entertainment, just the world of wrestling. But he did not. He could have said it's business as usual, ended it there. But what he proceeded to do was bury like 6 of the talent in the company.
Yeah, and Edge, Adam Copeland hasn't been a big deal, and that's a problem. That's not something he should be gloating about. It's not something he should be using to deflect CM Punk leaving for WWE. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing how like lack of a deal has been made of Adam Copeland coming in. So, yeah, guys, there you go. Jericho's own words. He says that there wasn't a big reaction when none of these guys were signed.
I think this is just proof, though, of that in AEW they're not corporate trained. Like Vince in the past, you know, they had like Cena when he does interviews. Man, he's trained like a puppy.
Look at when Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre both came out and spoke negatively about CM Punk lately, but they've both mentioned how big a deal it is that he's came back and how it's good for the ratings and it's good for the company and it puts eyes on the product, but they've said they don't like him. Yeah. Whereas Jericho's came out here and he's just basically said, yeah, there was no big reaction when these guys came in.
No, this would be like Jericho in 2014 saying, well, it's business as usual. Yeah, we lost CM Punk, but, you know, we brought in Batista, but there wasn't a big deal when Punk left. There wasn't a big deal when Batista left and other people. See when Cena comes back for his wee run, who cares? See when Rock, Austin and Hogan kicked off WrestleMania 30, it wasn't a big deal, just like when CM Punk left. Because, no, Vince wouldn't allow that shit. And I hope Triple H wouldn't allow that. You know, but Tony Khan, he needs to put them on a leash, but when the guy is holding the leash for the superstars, needs to be held on a leash and he ain't. What's going to happen?
And you got to wonder. I wonder if Jericho's seen the writing on the wall here for AEW, because I do think that he's not kissing as much ass as he usually did back in the day. And I don't know. Maybe Jericho's thinking that he's trying to leave that WWE door open.
Aye, maybe he is. Will Jericho return to WWE before his career's out?
I think so. I know he said that he's going to finish it in AEW. I don't think he will. I think we'll see Jericho back in WWE. So, yeah.
I hope we do. You know, he deserves it. I'd like to see him back in. But how long is he going to leave it, man? He's early 50s. Can't leave it forever, Chris.
I just think it's embarrassing that AEW signed Adam Copeland, a guy that's got, 12 world titles in WWE, main event at WrestleMania, and Jericho refers to that as business as usual.
Yeah.
Signing Adam Copeland, aka Edge, is business as usual.
And also,
If
obviously we prefer Edge though, but you're throwing Daniel Bryan in there.
And Moxley.
Yeah, he's been event at Mania though, Bryan.
So I mean, if that's business as usual, who can AEW realistic? Who's a realistic signing for AEW that Jericho would consider groundbreaking, like not business as usual? Then, if Adam Copeland's business as usual,
no idea, because you look at Punk and him getting a 1.4 for AEW Rampage. That is a big reaction. There was a big reaction. There's a big reaction. Punk coming back. Obviously, he's never going to admit that. But the reality is, with these guys coming into AEW, there just hasn't been. I remember Adam Cole came out and no one gave a damn because Bryan came out after him.
Yeah.
So I would say it's not a massive reaction for Bryan, but if you're comparing them, like I think it's a bit harsh to put Daniel Bryan on the same list as Adam Cole and Will Ospreay, for example.
I'd say there was more hype with Adam Cole than Will Ospreay though.
Oh, aye, yes.
Plus, I'd say back then, I think AEW was in a better place.
Aye, it's in a pretty dark place.
Yeah,
now.
I think AEW's definitely been on the decline since Danielson and Adam Cole signed. But anyway, I mean, that's it, guys. Jericho claiming... I think it's a sad day when AEW signed Adam Copeland, which is a huge deal, let's be honest. Okay?
But this is the sign.
Don't get me wrong, it's flopped. The signing has flopped because they haven't done much with him. And he did go on and get, like, what, 600k in his debut match or whatever.
Aye.
So, yeah, that sucked, but that's a big deal. And for Jericho to claim it's business as usual is just downplaying it.
I think this is the sign of a company going downhill. I think him actually coming out and saying something like this shows you like the glory days of this company are done. Not that they had many, but could you imagine though in 2006 if TNA said this after Kurt? Like,
not a big deal, business as usual.
Like the way like Sabu and Jeff Hardy went back to WWE, could you imagine if AJ Styles or something, or Jeff Jarrett for example, since he's like similar age to Jericho, he's like, well, it's not a big deal, Jeff and Sabu etc. went back to WWE. We've had the likes, Kurt Angle come in, not really a big deal though.
Yeah, that would never happen.
No, it wouldn't, and it shouldn't happen. But again, I think that just goes back to Tony Khan.
Tony Khan!
He sets the example. I mean, seeing you've got guys as agents like Orange Cassidy and, not Danhausen, what's the other FUD? What's the other guy? Darby Allin. Imagine choosing Darby Allin as a road agent over Bret Hart. I don't even like Bret Hart. What the fuck's that?
4 out of 10 for me, guys. Anyway, that's it. Till next time. Peace.